You look beautiful, by the way.
Hey, everybody, welcome to Keeping It Spiritually Simple. And today I am so blessed and honored to have my friend Marina Jacobi on. We haven't talked in a minute. And if you don't know who Marina is, she has an amazing website, marinajacobi.com, that has everything on there, including jumpstart videos, because some of her videos are very in depth. She does a live every Saturday morning, so you can always keep updated with what the Council of Nine and what she is interpreting, and so on and so forth. So, Miss Energy Philanthropist, how are you today?
Thank you so much for having me. And we having a great time as usual. You're wonderful and you look beautiful, by the way. I just
Oh
wanted to
gosh,
say that
thank
before you
you.
started. Always vibrant. So
Oh,
yeah,
thank you.
we'll have a good time. Thanks for having me again.
Awesome. So I know we are, time limited here because Marina has a schedule that is crazy, but she purposely set some time aside for this morning. So we're just going to get right to it. First thing I'd like everyone to do is please like, subscribe, and share. That helps this video algorithms move faster. Don't wait till the end. Get going with it now. All right, so Marina, where are we? Where are we going with all this? What can we do to be best prepared for what's a coming?
Well, the latest thing that we're coming, and of course, now I want to tell everybody that if you want to follow the real videos, you have to go through my website, marinajacobi.com, watch the information there because the entire links are connected with Rumble. And the reason is because I was very heavily censored 2 years ago for stuff like they changing algorithms and policies, and all of a sudden you find yourself like 2 years ago you mentioned some word that is not in their liking, and you get a strike. So I remove 70% out of my videos. So if I can unleash what I have to say, and I don't get a chance to say, I don't give myself a chance to say anymore, oh, maybe something is happening. You have to find everything on Rumble and subscribe on Rumble, because now, and also the Quantum Manifestation Network, you can subscribe with that through my website, because it's a community that is safe. Everybody knows about the information. This community was done by the guidance of the Council of Nine, and thanks to volunteers. Literally, I can shout out to Tony and Lina. They're incredible. They literally put everything together. So if you do a lot of work, there are nice people that really gonna do the work from the heart to help you out in the name of humanity, because it's really a time for us to unite. So if you want to find the latest information that I will not put on YouTube, you have to go through the website or subscribe on Rumble, because you're always going to find. And these videos are literally, if you're subscribed on my website, you're going to get that link for that day the same day. And is not going to appear on Rumble until the next week. So we want to honor everybody that comes live and that is supporting us through the work, and that is very important to us, and thank you so much. So to get into it, the latest thing that was told, they were mentioning that there are two Trumps, okay? And the double Trump, basically they were saying that if you want to find out about the real Trump, the double Trump, he has twitching in his eye and is twitching a lot. That's what they said. And the real Trump shows up with Melania. The President Trump and the First Lady Melania show up together. I suggest you watch Juan Osivan. He goes a lot on Nino's Corner TV, a lot of information there, so you can see information. Again, you can find that on Rumble for a lot of people. A lot of information is there, backup channels, because you won't find the real information because we're being censored. So you have to look at a couple of things that are happening, because in the months to come, there is a lot of stuff that happened to the negative structure, the cabal, for example. I can say that word. it's planning to do their worst. Why? Because they cannot survive above three-dimensional structure of energetic field. They cannot basically convert the frequency from their heart. They're not compassionate. Everything is artificial. And because of that, they have to remain in three-dimensional holographic frequency of reality. And to do that, they have to go into basically cyber reality, like anything that has to do with nano and with AI. You can become like a cyborg. If you watch the movie Foundation, they talk a lot about that, or Halo, the last Halo movie, the last season of it. You're gonna see how the AI completely shut down somebody's brain, but because they're basically like cyborgs, you know, between human and cyborg. And by the way, if you Neuralink, for example, is trying to do that, really to attach with all this technology, the stuff. So while you are being given a pacifier with different technologies and express your freedom through different platforms, somebody is building to chip you in your brain and using nanotechnology. And why is so scary? That because if you really understand the platform the way I was given from the Council of Nine, and you can find that information in the Harmonic Reactor book, it's advanced technologies, but these technologies is fifth-dimensional structure. They're not designed to overtake your consciousness and body. They're designed to coexist and help. But if you allow technology like this to go into your brain, that nano can mimic your original structure of the molecule structure and mimic it as a synthetic, and is going to Neuralink it. And now you become in a brain that is connected through certain platforms, and you can send different sounds around, and somebody can download information in your brain. This is why when you put a chip in your brain like that and you think of something, can switch the TV or something else, because it's you going through the frequency. But you've got to understand that our body are designed originally from God consciousness to be converting through the spinning of the genetic code, the DNA, and all the chakras, which create a certain signal. And that signal is the original signal from consciousness itself, because you become like a conduit for different resonance that is coming back and forth, and you are grabbing that resonance, raising your frequency of your body. You become like a spaceship, literally. But we're talking about matter structure, and you can shift the timelines and the realities. You can open a portal in time space and literally shift yourself into another universe, which is in the now. And we can do that. That's why you're shifting. You actually shifting every moment to moment, even right now. But the frequency is so so close to each other that you don't even know that every moment you're shifting to a new universe, and then you're reprinting everybody in it. The reason why this is so important for you not to consent to put anything inside your body and stuff like that is because when you off disengage your original DNA platform, you can no longer shift naturally the timelines. You cannot naturally open a natural portals into time space. You're gonna need the artificial technology to move forward. And this negative structure, you know, this cabal, this I wouldn't even say the cabal, because the cabal was designed from a lot of people that were basically doing overtaking, like a mafia and things like that, but they are not particularly destroying humanity to not to exist anymore. I cannot say certain words here. So because of that, they're also fighting against the negative, because they completely went off control, and they're literally using us like any type for any type of form so they can survive. And because of this frequency and whatever the negative is doing, they cannot convert anything. So they want to construct a reality that is all artificial. And that's why they want to do this cyborg reality, because they can use this technology to change their consciousness into, and they can live forever. So this is the whole game here, because you can download your consciousness from one body to another when you're using super technology. And I believe there was a movie that is called Alicia, or um, basically it was the last warrior or something like this, and she was basically completely like a cyborg between human and stuff, and she used all this technology because she was this warrior that they were using. It's phenomenal technology, let me tell you. I know that exists, but you can use it something to help you out. So that is the latest that was really happening, because now they put the neural link into somebody's brain and they can do this stuff. And let me make that clear. I love Musk because he's genius, but I don't know what's really happening there. There's so many questions in my mind with all that stuff. So then the other thing was that they were discussing, and that was the latest that happened last week, that they were discussing that there will be things happening in New York, and they were giving predictions for 2024 when they were quoting the New Yorkers will hold candle in the dark, and to also be very careful when they're walking around, because apparently the sleeping cells are being activated and things may happen, like people can get attacked in the streets and stuff like that, which strangely enough, there were police officers attacked, and they were from this illegals, so-called illegals, and now they were completely disrespectful. It's all over the news if you want to see what it is, but this is exactly what's been happening. So there will be some challenges in New York area. This was the latest that they were, saying that is going to be happening. Now, the whole commotion with all this stuff, they gave me so far, because everything fluctuates, like a 2 years of fluctuation of different stuff. So my suggestion is, I know a lot of people say, don't pay taxes, don't do that, don't, because we got to stop them. This is not the way to go, because we still have the minions working in certain platforms. And if you do something that is like that, and you don't know exactly the protocols, you got to understand that you're dealing with the international cartel. They're like basically thugs, some of them, and they will come arrest you. They will put a gag order on all the lawyers, and you won't do anything. And this happened to doctors, to lawyers, that they were against them. So there's a lot of stuff that we don't know, because we've been given complete lies and manipulation through all the platforms, and you don't even know what's really going on. In the meantime, manipulation in the school system, what happening with the kids. And at the same time, there are a lot of parents that are struggling with all this stuff because they don't know what to do. So rephrase your judgments when it comes to, who is doing what, because a lot of these people that are even doing this negative stuff, they've been born in these families and they're afraid for their lives. They've been blackmailed. Judges and lawyers have been blackmailed. I can tell you so many stories, but because of platforms and we want to put it everywhere, I refrain all that information. But it's going to be a strange time because the battle is in US. While the battle is in US, while they fleeting, I strongly suggest you watch the High Wire. Go to highwire.com and watch episode, I believe was episode 357 episode, and it's called Borderline, and is incredible information. Also, Tucker Carlson also talk about that, but I don't know his episode. And if you're watching highwire.com episode 357 of the Borderline, you're also going to see that how they coming through the borders, who is doing what they doing, and including, which I was mentioning about that, including this all this focus about global warming and what they're trying to do. And now the WHO is now trying to do everything against behind closed doors. Nobody needs to know what they're doing. They want to take over your freedom of basically health and stuff like this, so they can make a decisions what you want to do. So all this stuff are in a pipeline of everything they're trying to do. Again, from the Council of Nine, they said, they, in their hologram, the negative, will do whatever they want to do because they have this playing field that they're playing out. However, you do not have to consent to it. So this way, you're going to split the timelines and you're going to start reprojecting something and go into a timeline that you're going to have a positive outcome, even if the negative is doing something. And eventually, they're not going to be able to complete their whatever they're trying to do because consciousness will survive. Humans will survive, but you have to be very careful how you play that game, and you have to be very aware what they're doing so you don't caught up in their, manipulation. That's the whole goal here. So if you know, and if you awaken and you really do the right things, consciousness itself, your guidance in everything you do, you will project the reality that will give you the problem will come and the solution will come in your reality, but you have to take a stand and you physically have to act on it, or you caught up in their manipulation. That is because in consciousness everything coexists at the same time, and you can choose which reality you want to be. But whatever they try to do eventually is not going to work. Just don't caught in their manipulation. So the things that they said will be most important for us is to completely stay on, be aware of who is doing what, because more stuff is going to be happening around March and up. Because for some reason they said in March, and from stuff they're going to activate, and more stuff will happen to confuse you with whatever is coming. So at the same time, one thing you have to know, that the real President Trump, whatever he ended up signing, he ended up putting a lot of executive orders that actually working behind the scenes that a lot of people are not aware. So whatever these people are doing, they're literally illegally committing crimes against humanity. But because they're still operating through their platforms of structures that they created, which is completely artificial, against the law of the land, against the human nature, and because they're still controlling some stuff, that's why you have to be very careful what you're doing, because they still have some pull into this reality. So play a chess game, be very careful what you're doing, and do not go immediately, be peacefully non-compliant. Because the real law of the land is already in place, but because you don't know how to do it, and you have thugs around that controlling this, you don't know to which pipeline you need to go to implement that. And if you find the proper people, you'll be able to. But until we really start seeing serious arrests from these people publicly, then you that is your basically how should I say, this is what you have to look out. You have to be in the lookout if they start really arresting these people, because we all know who these criminals are. But until you see them publicly arrested and something really happening to them, we're talking about the big names, then you're going to know the changes are happening. Now we're in a prefaces of all these changes, and you have to be very, very careful how you play this game, because I'm telling you, there's a lot of traps down the line, and I don't want people to caught up. They're gonna start pushing again this stuff and something else going on. Somebody's being sick or another things. You know what I'm talking about. I don't want to say different words here. This is why I'm switching around things, because in their agenda 2030, as you already know, in May 2024, a lot of this European nation and stuff like this have to sign in and give your sovereignty for your health. And this is where they're going to start pushing different agendas and different pandemics and stuff like this, so you can and then you don't have the right to refuse what they say because your government told you, gave away your freedom. But you gotta understand that this is also a game, because certain governments may sign in, and yet people won't be compliant, which happen in a certain countries. They allow immigrants to come in, but when you know what these immigrants represent and what they will simply did it in such a way so these immigrants will not want to stay in that country. And this way they're going through. And how do you think all these immigrants, when you watch the borderline from highwire.com, you're going to see how each country is pushing this, okay, you can pass through, and we're going to help you to pass through because we don't want to deal with that problem. Why? Because the battle is in US. If you destroy US, you can take over, but that won't happen. Eventually, it's going to get to such a point in US, to the point that people have to stand up and take really stuff. We're not talking about civil situation. We're talking that you legally can go and stop that lunacy. You have the right to do it, and you have to start uniting without waiting somebody to do something for you. It's got to be like a community. You have to, if you see that you're being invaded, why you're sitting at home? Why you're not making a line and not allowing this to happen? Because if you, since it's the land of the law of the land, you have any right to go and do something and stop it. You can sign a petition, and this can stop overnight. Why? Because each state in America, that's why the Constitution was so great. The law of the land in America, the real Constitution was so great because each state is sovereign for itself, can be sovereign for itself. So if they say something from this lunacy that they want to put down on everybody, every state can say, I'm sorry, I will not be compliant to that. And this is why the mayors of each state in US were so important, because through the mayor was carrying out whatever was given from the top. And you have a mayor and sheriff of each county. Listen carefully, because I've learned that in one of the shows. Somebody was talking about the law of the land. If you sign a petition and everybody goes and the sheriff and the mayor sign, they will stop all that lunacy, whatever they're trying to do. Also, if they try to put another scarcity in everybody, you can find a lawyer or a doctor that has private membership association. And if they have private membership association, they're not obligated to follow whatever else somebody says, because become like a private club. For example, you sign in and nobody has a right to tell you what it is. You're basically in your own bubble. So this is the stuff that you can do to look for it, and then when you go to certain people and you want to go to sheriff or you want to go to certain person, look for symbolisms. Look what they have, like a symbolisms and the stuff. If you go on YouTube and look for symbolisms, secret symbolisms, and what they represent, you may find out if the sheriff or representative or lawyer is belonging to some kind of a group of these people, because they put people on purpose there to control the counties. This is why they had these 15-minute cities that they were talking, or 60-minute cities, stuff like that, because they can control. They wanted to close in. And if you watch the movie In Time with Justin Timberlake, it's exactly what they were planning to do. So watch that movie and you're going to see what they wanted to do to you. Similar to that. Why? Because then you can control everybody. You can put a special chip in somebody's body and you can download whatever sound wave in there, and you can shut in somebody's body right then and there. And that technology already exists. What do you think this chipping and stuff like this is happening? So this is why we have to stand up, because I can tell you one thing, and I know that from the Council of Nine, there's no middle ground here. You're making it or you don't making it here. Humanity is making it, but in order for you to see this reality, you gotta physically take the stand and start doing the stuff. That's what it is. So we win. Definitely, they told me we win, but you have to be on a timeline for that. Definitely by yourself. You have to create that reality. That's why I'm saying, please do not consent whatever they're trying to do. because it's very, very scary what they want to do to us. And there's no middle ground. Basically, you cannot just be compliant and think that everything is fine and wait somebody else to save you. You have to save yourself. Literally, you have to save yourself when you start standing up, when you start taking action. So you shall create the outcomes for whatever needs to help you to move forward. That's what it is.
Yeah, and as you're talking, I could easily see where when we say stand up, we're with clubs in the streets and together fighting against something like you would see on the movies. But then there's another part that I see, and that is our own energy dipping. Like, for example, a couple days ago, I didn't get the news that I wanted, that I thought for sure I was going to get. And I felt my energy kind of dip. And then I felt myself going into this pattern. And I had to literally stop, drop, sit, connect with my breath, change that pattern immediately, and change the energy within myself. And then the next day, it was like lights were on, things were very different. So, are we talking about individually not feeding that timeline by doing something like what I'm just now talking about?
Yes, absolutely. This is how you basically manifest the realities, not to consent. But make no mistakes, everybody is going to be challenged with different things. We will be challenged because individually you came to this planet for ascension and for liberation. But a lot of people get caught up on the illusion, on the manipulation, and they cannot see through the veil of that illusion. So more things and things they're gonna try to squeeze, but it's eventually not gonna work because I gotta tell you, I see a lot of people that are completely awakened. Anywhere I turn, they know what's happening. So yeah, they will put something in motion. The negative will try to do something. It's gonna be another thing, and most of the people will be probably ignoring or laughing or, oh my God, here he goes another one, and it's not going to be taken seriously because we know the manipulation. We know.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the people I see, maybe 80% of the people know.
Well, I think it's also to heighten the effects of fear individually and collectively
Yeah.
as well, by giving you something that's unknown. And when something's unknown, you immediately go into resistance because you don't know how to
Hmm.
process it, or
Hmm.
you just don't have the capability. But I mean, like the alien invasions and all the things that they talk about that are going to occur. I mean, I've heard even some other new channelers coming in and saying that. And just to listen to it is it can create trepidation. And you have to say to yourself, I'm equipped to deal with whatever occurs when it occurs. And me going through this mental monkey mind creating more trepidation and more anxiety and more nervous system distortion, then I can't function on my daily grind. And then I'm subject to what? Picking up all kinds of other negative things. I become a magnet for it. At least that's the way I see it. What are your thoughts?
Well, this is exactly how it is. People are getting so confused whatever really is happening. And if you see this thing that was happening, remember that they had something all over the place. Now somebody put it, oh my God, portal open in the mall. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not gonna even listen to this, and blew up everywhere. Well, what do you think that is? Are you for real? If let me tell you something, if really the positive extraterrestrial coming, they will never do it this way. They will do it probably for people that are already known, the people trust, and it's going to be a very gentle and very stuff because they know what we've been through. So if anybody posts something like this and start saying, oh my God, invasion, this is the other thing because it's going to go into another perpetual war. Now we got to fight for this, and now we got to do the way Tom Cruise had these movies, with all this alien invasion and Will Smith alien invasion and oh my God, we saved humanity, is because you're feeding into their stuff. And let me tell you, this wars was very well designed and order through chaos and depopulation process because when you have too much of the cows around, you wanna control them, you want a certain amount to control them, and this is exactly what they want to put us through right now. They have no right to. We don't consent to that. And they will go into that stuff. Yeah, they will go and they will start doing all this manipulation. I even had somebody that got upset that I didn't answer that question, what happened in the mall. Well, the truth is, since we're talking quantum structure here, that's what I was taught about, taught from the Council of Nine. You actually, that reality could be truth for you, and that reality will not be truth for you, depending how you shift in your intention and consciousness. If you go into fear for that and believe that this is true, so that shall be true for you. For me, I'm gonna ignore it because I know how they wanna. That was the beginning, because all of a sudden it was such a psyop everywhere in the news was aliens here and aliens there. All of a sudden we're talking about aliens, when 50 years ago nobody even wanted to touch that stuff. So if people don't see that pattern, then you need to wake up, and very soon, because it's coming for you. It's really coming for you.
Yeah, again, it just messes with the psyche. It
Yeah,
just,
messes with the
and
psyche.
right. And, as I always talk about, Spirit shows me, you're on a 24/7 surveillance. Everything, every sound, every noise, every word, every process is stored in your subconscious, whether you're aware of it or not. Something over there can affect you and it's stored here. So all you're doing is triggering all these, uh, the sand dunes of,
Yeah.
it's going to happen. It's going to happen. All right. So I know you got to get going, but so individually, what is one of the things that we could possibly do in our now, right now, to be the best we can be and not to be available to this sabotage?
Stop watching negative news. That was the first thing they said, because if you watch the mainstream media, including the media of the backup channels, if in that backup channel is constantly fear, and they said, oh, maybe this is going to happen, oh, maybe that's it, we're being taken over, look what they're doing, and you don't have basically solutions for that, so you can shift your understanding to positive vibration, you may project exactly this type of reality. So you have to be very careful what you put in attention into. You just have to know to maneuver stuff. You just have to look at everything like it's a movie, not to buy into the fear, hunger, and monger situation, and to prepare yourself. For example, American, everybody should have a little bit food in the house in case they put something, and in case they do some stuff. I know they were shutting down frequency, and oh my God, it's going to be a blackout. Yeah, it could be something, but they didn't tell me it's going to be the entire world and stuff like this. They told me it's going to be different sectors of platforms, it's going to be control, because they told me like this, the same technology that they said, and I'm quoting this from the Council of Nine, the same technology they were spying on us, or they're spying on us, the same technology the good guys are spying on them, and above, imagine we have the ETs on top of everything that happened. So this is a massive, massive tip. The whole thing, let me tell you, the whole thing here can stop overnight. The reason why we are continuing with all this and getting longer is because, and I'm sorry if I'm a little bit rude with that, but because of the sleepyheads. This is the reason why this is continuing, because we have people that even when they see what's really happening, committed a crime against humanity, and we're talking about certain doctors, that did stuff. Even they saw, and there's so many videos and backup channels to see what these doctors did knowingly for money, because they got funded, if they sign something up or put something in, not to mention how many testimonies, but also you've been literally there are a lot of people gonna have to will pay the price of what they did against humanity. A lot of people. And the reason why this is continue, as I said, is because a lot of people, even if they see it, they so much into their ego that they don't want to admit that they're being wrong. And then we have the ones that are completely being brainwashed through the system. They're so completely unaware what's really happening that you're gonna hit them with a brick in the face and still won't get it. So this is what the Council of Nine said. If you see that is beyond repair, let it be, because it's chosen its own path. but we're here to end up really help out the people that are becoming awakened and yet don't know where to turn and what to do. So that's our job. But let me rephrase that most of the people, we have more than 70% now awakened, more than 70, but some of the 70s don't know what to do, how to do, and how to be helped. They don't know. It's still fear into it, even if they want to free themselves, even if they want to see it. So that's why it's gotta be, if you know the truth, speak from your heart without making somebody and putting somebody in fear. Share information because it's all there. Do you really think isn't it kind of strange that all of a sudden Tucker Carlson got fired from whatever, or let go from NBC, for Fox News? I'm sorry, from Fox News. And all of a sudden he has his own channel that millions of people now following, and you can unleash anything and say anything. Come on, guys. I mean, don't you see through the veil of the good guys that they're doing something? Obviously, why? Because slowly but surely you have to be awakened. And to give credit to Elon Musk, look what happened. He went to Tucker Carlson, he goes to Joe Rogan, he allowed everybody to go, which all your platform now is free for you to say whatever you need to say. And there was another guy over there that Elon Musk allowed to be there. A lot of information is there too from InfoWars. InfoWars. Oh my God! If you go to InfoWars and if you go to X right now and check out the stuff, it's so much information there that the people that you thought they were crazy, now you're not gonna think that they're crazy. So get your facts straight. Go do a lot of research. Go to InfoWars. Go to, as I said, Highwire and watch the Borderline, because even in the Borderline they were showing literally decade videos. They send people there, and you will see a journalist really, really. They show you pictures and stuff and information and videos of what's really going on, to the point that you're gonna say, "Oh my God, they're not gonna show you that on national TV." And I was saying this to you. I said that to you before. I'm going to say it again. There's no middle line here. Don't think if you go behind the bush and you're going to pray for humanity without taking action, it's just going to happen. No, you really got to stand up, and you got to physically, legally do the right things, because the law is in your side. You just have to unite, find the right people, and help each other out peacefully. Because they even said it, and I said it before. You, for example, you know how people said, "Oh my God, I'm gonna buy land, and I'm gonna go up in the mountains, and I'm gonna be doing this stuff, and I'm gonna build a bunker and all this stuff." And I'm going, "Oh yeah, really?" And you think if they really take over, they're not gonna come to your peaceful
There's nowhere to
land.
hide.
Is nowhere to hide, people. So you better stand up, because if you watch that episode, and again is in a highwire.com, watch episode 357, 357, Borderline, and there they're showing real documents. And in these documents, they have something that is connected with the global warming, that you cannot have more trees, and they're going after your backyards. That they're going to tell you how much fruits you have, how much vegetation you have in your backyard, because it have something to do with the ozone and whatever they want to do. So they're going to come after you for that. So if you think that you're safe back in the mountains in some bunker, because they're not going to come, they're going to come after you if we don't win. So we have to win. You stand up and do something, because there's no middle ground here. There's no middle ground. We got to win.
Well, and I think that starts with awareness. I think more and more people woke up in the last couple years to understand what actually occurred. And there are people that I knew were on one side of the fence a year or two ago that are now speaking out at the atrocities against humanity and saying, "Hey, guys, are you aware of this? Are you aware of the school board of this? Are you aware of that?" And at least start participating in the awareness of reading the information. If you can't attend the meeting, there's petitions to sign, there's groups to get together. And what we're doing is we're tipping the scales. And so you can't just stay in the middle and be lofty and neutral. You've got to decide where it is that you choose to be and what you want for your world moving forward and for your children's world. Would that be correct?
That is exactly what it is, because if you start looking around, there were a lot of, since you were speaking about the school system, there were a lot of parents that end up signing on petitions, and you have every right to get rid of the school boards that are doing this. And my suggestion is go investigate the people in the school board, because I can tell you they must be connected to some negative people or negative you know, like Illuminati or whatever they call it, in order to do all this stuff. I'm telling
Mm-hmm.
you, you cannot go like this and all of a sudden sign in absolutely crazy stuff like this for your children, and to allow such a atrocity, the way you said it, in the books. You know, these books, you probably seen what they put in the books, you know, and to teach your kids this perversion, and
Mm-hmm.
they must be involved with something. So you should really look into your local you know, area, who is connected to who, and you can unite, and you can just literally sign a petition, and you can basically kick them out overnight. It's that easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's really that easy. People just don't know. You know, you can go in, you can sign a petition, and they will no longer serve it because they serve you. You just gave
Mm-hmm.
your power away, and you don't know your rights.
Yeah, and when you talk about the sleepy people, I call them the drowsers because there's a lot of people that will revert to being sleepy and tired because they just can't deal with something. And that's just their constitution. And again, awareness, adjusting your attitude, stop, drop, sit, connect with your breath, at least align yourself. You may not be able to control the exterior, but you can control your own interior. And
Oh,
it
that's
starts
very
with
well said.
that.
I love that. Yeah.
Thanks. That just came through.
Yeah, very nice.
Lots of times I say things that if I don't write them down or video them, I have no idea. I'm like, oh my gosh, that was so smart. Because it's
Yeah.
not me. It's my higher team. Just whoa.
Yeah, that's
So and I
right.
completely forgot what I just said already. All right. So we need to align ourselves. We need to pay attention. Now, I, for one, do not watch news. I haven't been able to get into it since the 90s simply because my nervous system is very sensitive. So spirit kind of tells me what I need to know. But when you're talking about that 70%, there's different levels of that 70%.
Yes,
There's some
yes,
in there
yes.
that are going to know every detail. They're on top of everything. They know it all. And then there's some that have just this much saturation. They're aware. They're ready to move if they need to move in a certain direction. And then there's ones down at the bottom that are just starting to really come in there and go, huh, something's just off here. This isn't right. I'm becoming aware of this, and that, especially when it comes to what became supposed mandatory and in the last couple of years, the side effects of all of that. And so a lot of people have started with that in their awakening process. Hallelujah. And seeing that there is a deceitful dark side with an agenda that doesn't care about humanity and its
Mhm.
its its quality of life.
Well, for everybody that doesn't really know, if you're new here and whatever is happening, watch on Rumble The Fall of the Cabal. And the second series is the sequel of The Fall of the Cabal. And it's pretty much most of the stuff out there of what was done, what was happening. And the second series is how it started. And that will really, really make you open your eyes and your mind and understand how manipulated we were. And that's why we're here to actually help everybody else that is just the beginning of waking up and understanding, because there's so many nice people that were completely manipulated to such an extent that is just really, really sad. And none of us wants to see that for humanity. At least we don't want to see that for humanity. So that's why the battle is so so you know, strong, because we are here in opposite spectrums. One is to completely, we all want to survive, but we want different things. And in that battle is not going to be a middle ground. It's not going to be, oh, that's fine. Because these people, they do not want you to survive. They want to instinct you. This is what the situation is here. So be very, very careful. They're going to try to do something again with all the stopping this, and maybe you cannot travel. They will try to do some stuff again, I'm sure of it, because that is into their stuff. If you watch,
That's their MO. That's just
that's
they
what
keep
MO is,
repeating the
all
same
there
MO.
actually.
Yeah.
It's all there. If you watch um all these backup channels, you're gonna see exactly their agenda. Go to Agenda 2030 and all the last videos. It's all there. It's all there for you to see, so um yeah, InfoWars talks a lot about it. I know he's very passionate, but thanks God to this man, because he was screaming on top of his lungs years ago, people to wake up, and nobody's waking up. They thought he was a crazy person, but he was never a crazy person. He was really spot on and everything. Why? Because he said it, and I'm quoting, "I've read their papers. That's how I know." But none of us read the paper. Who would think of that? How can you possibly think that somebody wants to do this to you? At the moment you hear somebody say anything like this, I remember when I was waking up my whole family. I mean, I was a crazy person. How dare I mention something about, I don't know if I could say that word, worshiping, the devil, for example. And look at Taylor Swift lately. See what's really going on there, you know. And how come she came out of nowhere? There's another one now they're initiating in the Grammys with the red dress, the blood was dripping behind and all the stuff. And Taylor Swift is clapping. I mean, come on, people. Are you not aware what's really happening? Do not allow your children to watch these lunatics. It literally, really, really very bad occult. This is an occult, and they're not thinking good of you. You gotta understand that they're being initiated in a very, very negative way, using your offsprings, and it's very, very dark, dark stuff there. So when they doing something in front of you in the Grammys, or in what do you call, when they do the, what is it called? The Grammys is something else they were doing. Emmys, Grammys, or whatever, and especially Super Bowl.
Yes,
This is
that's this weekend.
This is rituals. Do not watch the halftime. Do not watch it. I promise you, is gonna be something there. I'm not gonna watch it, and I'm gonna watch it after, because what people do, I'm gonna watch little pics they said, but I'm not gonna put the music in the video, because a lot of this music they put sound waves, subtonalities in there, and that's something in your body. There was a rapper that did on his show that a lot of stuff happened in this show, and I watched a video how sound wave was put in, and I saw how everybody in middle of maybe like 20 meters, literally this sound came in and everybody was on the floor. Something happened there in that crowd. So you gotta understand, a lot of stuff is happening because they're performing. When they perform these rituals, they summon through the sound wave of that music different negative entities. And you open up a portals, they put in this frequency, energetic force into that particular area, and when you chanting and praying and repeating their songs, they actually overtake in your body and sometimes your souls. They're tapping into, and they're lowering your vibration. So this is not crazy. Go ahead and look around and do all the stuff that we're talking here: frequency, sound, and vibration, how through frequency and sound and certain imagery that they're posting on top of you and subtonalities, they can tap into your subconscious mind. And it's called, I believe in movies, you can do something like this when you put a 13 frame, and it's called, I believe, 13 frame. And if that 13 frame is a certain movement, frequency, the way it moves, you can basically brainwash somebody, put a messages in somebody's subconscious, and the person, you may say one word and the person can go and do something crazy. This is
Yeah,
exactly what's going on.
you have to be so careful of that slow drip because then it becomes a full brew and
Yes,
you're in it
yes,
and you don't
yes.
realize that you're totally in it.
And yeah, and the scary part here is what is really very disturbing, that they bombarded our children in a school system through the
Mhm.
food, through the music, through the games, because they do the same thing into the games, subtonality and imagery, and especially that thing, that metaverse. Oh my God, stay away from metaverse. Metaverse is really gonna put you in a very specific resonance. If you know anything about conversion of light sound frequency, is not the natural light, and is gonna put up your brain waves in such a state that you will not be able to process properly the holographic reality of the real reality. I'm telling you, people, this is quantum structure. Stay away
Mhm.
from games, stay away from the stuff that they put over here for you to do it all the time. I already seen videos, somebody walking in the street with it on subways. That is very, remember how they wanted for you to buy this meta, and the reality was going to be like this. Now you can buy property in the metaverse, and you don't need to leave your home. You can just stay there. Why? Because they wanted to put us in these camps,
Mhm.
but how clever, from your home, so you don't move everywhere. And then through that system of, what system that was, for, there was a certain name of the system that I wanted to create. Basically, depending, this digital system that they can tell you, carbon footprint or something like that. They can all of a sudden say, oh, okay, through your bank you can get your money, you can get your food, you can shop, you can do anything, and you can go to work through this metaverse. They were controlling everything electronically, and this is
Mhm.
just the beginning. So technology is great, and I'm the one that talks about organic intelligence and AI. I love the technology, but there's another version of it, and this is how the extraterrestrials are tapping into. This is how it's done. So it's another version of itself. So don't be scared. We're moving forward with that because it's already created in consciousness, and you cannot reject it. You know, but you can create a better version of it. And this is exactly what's going on, because you cannot destroy one thing with another if the other one is not more potent than the previous one. And
Mhm.
so when you come with the advanced technology of that, is going to coexist with consciousness, with humanity or different extraterrestrials, is not going to overtake. But the reason why sometimes you need nano in your body, and you needed to be connected with AI, the way, for example, was Avatar movie, the way that soldier went in and went into the other reality. This technology exists. This is how a lot of us being dropped in three-dimensional timeline, is because the fact of the 3D became an artificial AI. And this is the reason we needed this technology. You
Mhm.
cannot send somebody into some kind of a structure without a protection of the same, much more advanced.
Yeah, we can sit around here and say, excuse me, I do not consent. I do not consent. But every
Mm-hmm.
time you participate with these games or let your children do these games, or you're participating with non organic foods and junk and all these fast food things, you're slowly giving away your consciousness one speck, one cell at a time. You're
And your
allowing
freedom.
that takeover. Absolutely. So it's not like it's going to be, a chip, you're going to stand in line and actually get a chip. That can come, but you're slowly being chipped already.
Oh
You're
yeah,
slowly
but
gearing towards
listen,
that.
I believe that whatever they was spraying around, already we have stuff like this in our bodies already. But consciousness knows its power, and what the Council of Nine told me, that the ETs gonna put some kind of a resonance, like a frequency, it can cancel out everything they would try to do. So that's why I'm not worried at all. I'm not
Yes.
saying that they're not doing some stuff. I'm not saying we're not going to find ourselves in certain situations, but it's never going to go to such extent for extinction. And it's
Mm-hmm.
never going to go, they said, in US or whatever in the world, the way it was in the big recession,
Mm-hmm. But these
you
little
know.
permission slips eventually lead to how did I get here?
Oh yeah, you
I
can
don't
create that
realize
reality for
I
yourself.
totally can see how I just allowed this to happen to
You can
myself, to
create
my
this
children.
reality individually for yourself.
Yes.
So that's why you have to be very, very smart what you're doing and not give consent, because
Mm-hmm.
you can create reality that you're gonna experience something that nobody else did.
Yeah. So reel it back in, people. Get in control of this, because that's the one vehicle
Yeah.
you have control of. And, listen to more videos like this. Get to marinajacobi.com, listen to some of
Thank
her
you.
videos, go to Rumble, have a session with her. They're amazing. I can tell you that.
Thank you.
And yeah, and just be in your God source spark light and know that you have commandership. You just have to understand that you actually have it, and then how to take action with it. And that requires listening and being aware and processing that information in a way that you're working with your feelings as well, because your
That's right.
feelings are going to interpret things in a different way than, say, all the craziness that's stuck up there in your brain. So, is there anything else you'd like to share before we go?
Well, I just want to thank you again so much for having me. It's really blessing.
I love
And I
it.
want to tell everybody, guys, we won already. Just create the reality so you see how you created your freedom. So thank you again for everybody. Thanks for everything. And from my heart to yours, I love you.
Well, thank you, Marina. And sit still. I'm going to end. So, you guys, please remember to like, subscribe, and share. And again, the links will be in the description for more information. And again, we love you and thanks for joining us. Bye.